Let's try going here, maybe. And then let's open the flowchart as well.
Whoa!
No. Let's try going here then. Maybe it'll unlock once we get here. Or maybe I should use a guide, or I don't know. Oh, okay, it's unlocked now. I guess I don't need to use a guide then, I'll just... Ah, shit, it's been so long since I did these puzzles, I don't want to solve them again if I can help it. Wait a sec. So what is new and what is not new? I don't know. Champy, where again? I'm not going to just read all of these again. Should I use a guide? Maybe I should use a guide instead of just... Yeah, I'm going to use a guide. Wait a sec. How do I get out of here? Okay. Yeah, I'll edit this episode and come back to this once I know more, and then we'll continue from there in the same episode. So, just ending this recording right now, but I'm not ending the episode here. Okay, I'm back. So I just looked up a guide and we are going to do this now. Looks like I have to see some scenes, so I'll have to do this puzzle again, sadly. I didn't look up how to look up the puzzle, so I mean I didn't look up how to do the puzzle, so I guess we'll just do trial and error, and maybe I'll just skip some parts in the editing. This is a different choice. I guess let's choose this one. I guess. Wait a sec. I don't think this choice matters actually. So let's just choose this.
Hey, come on. It's not like that.
Can I skip? No, this is new.
I guess you haven't changed at all, Jumpy. By the way, Jumpy. How did you end up here?
What do you mean? I told you earlier, didn't I?
There was a man with a gas mask
oops.
when you got home at night.
I'm on dungeon mode.
You inhaled some white smoke and passed out. When you woke up, you were on D-Deck.
Damn straight.
But is that really the truth?
What?
Jumpy, are you hiding something from me?
No, why would I?
Well, if you think about it, this is awfully suspicious. I mean, why would two childhood friends bump into each other in a place like this?
Hey, I could ask you the same thing. Are you hiding something?
What would I hide?
Well, I don't know. Anything. I mean, you're hiding it. How would I know?
You mean like the number of men I've dated?
What the hell? His heart stumbled over itself.
Do you want to know?
He had to admit, he was a little curious.
Don't worry.
She smiled at him.
Only 18.
What the fuck?
Time 0. Yeah, I guess I just haven't met Mr. Right yet.
She looked a little embarrassed and scratched the back of her head in a desperate attempt to seem nonchalant.
Yeah, I see.
Junpei coughed quietly in much the same way.
Anyway, I'm not hiding anything. Just like you, Jumpy. When I woke up, I was on D-Deck.
Well, you do have a point. I mean, why did Zero pick us? We haven't seen each other since elementary school.
I wonder.
June nodded, and for a few moments, she had the faraway look of someone in deep thought.
Look for what connects the victims. That will lead you to the culprit. Do you remember Seven saying something like that?
Yeah, I do. So...
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think this must all have something to do with a classmate of ours.
You got any ideas who it might be?
No, nothing.
Oh,
Well, if it had something to do with school, then it could be one of our teachers, or maybe the principal.
or the janitor, or the lunch lady.
Or maybe maybe some kind of company backing the school. Maybe Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Maybe that could be it, maybe. Maybe it was a private school owned by Cradle Pharmaceuticals. I don't know. We don't really know a lot about their backstory.
Oh, I can barely remember any of them.
Yeah, I know.
Junpei went back to searching, feeling unpleasant and confused. Elementary school. Elementary school. Was there anything strange that had happened in elementary school? As he searched the room, he continued to rack his brain. Okay, let's just continue. I hope I can finish these puzzles fast enough. Oh, another new choice. Well, probably not a new choice, just a choice we didn't choose before. So yeah, let's see what's different now.
The actual Titanic?
The actual Titanic? You mean it, like, slipped through time and ended up here? Before the ship sunk on April 14th, 1912?
Time, huh? Slipping through time, huh? I know the third game in the series is called Zero Time Dilemma, and it has like some cogs on its pictures and stuff, so I'm guessing it has some kind of time travel theme, so it's interesting that it's being mentioned here now.
Huh? What the hell are you smoking?
Huh? Did I get it wrong?
Junpei grinned and shook his head.
No, that's not. I mean, come on. I mean, slipped through time? Seriously? I was talking about the controversy surrounding the Titanic.
Controversy? What do you mean?
Haven't you heard of it? It's pretty famous, you know. The Titanic had a sister ship that was essentially identical. It was called the Olympic.
The Olympic, huh? Interesting. I was thinking he'd say gigantic. How do you read that again? Gigantic, yeah. I was expecting him to say gigantic, like Seven did, but I guess there is another ship identical to the Titanic. Interesting.
Oh, yes, I have heard of that. I think I heard it was troubled by a lot of problems, and the company that owned it didn't know what to do with it, right? So they made the Olympic up to look just like the brand new Titanic.
That's right. They also took out a huge insurance policy on it before it set sail.
That would mean that the real Titanic never sank.
Yeah, the ships got swapped. The real Titanic was renamed the Olympic in secret.
Whoa,
They
interesting.
used it as a passenger ship for more than 20 years.
Hey, wait a minute. Wouldn't that mean it retired in 1935?
Huh? Well, yeah, I guess sometime around then, yeah.
Well, what happened to it after that?
I heard it was dismantled.
Dismantled. Then it doesn't matter, does it? Whichever boat the real Titanic was, it doesn't exist anymore. It was either retired and dismantled, or sunk in the Atlantic by the curse. But then that would mean that this ship is...
Wait, what did you just say?
The curse.
Huh?
Sank in the Atlantic because of what?
The curse.
What do you mean, a curse?
A curse is a curse. This one is the curse of the Egyptian mummy.
What? Junpei couldn't understand how June had maintained a straight face to say that.
Supposedly, the Titanic carried the mummy of the priestess Amun-Ra, which
What?
was stolen from a pyramid. And they say that the mummy had a history. Everyone involved with it died mysterious deaths. Come on, I'm sure you've heard of it before. Those who open the coffin will be forever cursed. Haven't you ever heard that one?
So you're saying the Titanic sunk because of that curse?
That's right!
June's eyes had lit up with excitement, like a child with a new toy.
That's stupid. I don't buy it.
It's true.
How can you be so sure?
That that mummy wasn't just a normal mummy. It was really mysterious, totally unbelievable.
What is so unbelievable about it?
Well, supposedly, she was really pretty.
What?
Pretty?
Yes,
But she was a mummy.
that's right. She wasn't all shriveled up or rotten or anything. She almost looked alive.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, it's that thing. I don't remember the name. Where your body turns into some kind of wax. Yeah. The fat in it turns into something kind of like candle wax, right? And
Yes, saponification, but that's not what it was.
huh?
That's not it. She wasn't wax.
Then what was it?
They say that she was frozen.
What? Frozen.
That's right. The whole body was frozen solid. You know how a human body is more than 60% water? Well, all of that water was frozen. The story says that from the time of its discovery all the way through to when it got put on the Titanic, even though it was carried through the desert, her body never melted.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think so too, but maybe it's true and we just didn't know about it before.
I didn't know.
Yep. Maybe it's common sense to eat shaved ice in the desert because it lasts forever.
What?
Huh? Nah, that seems too silly to be true.
But maybe it isn't. It just appears that way because you didn't know it was true.
Well, yeah.
By the way, is this new? Like, am I just forgetting? I think this is new, but did we actually see this before and did I just forget? Yeah, looks like I just forgot. We already saw this before from the looks of it because I could skip it.
Ice that doesn't melt, even in the desert?
Yeah, looks like I already saw all of this. I just forgot for some reason. Oh well. Okay, let's continue.
Like the molecules were communicating with one another.
Okay, this is new. So, let me just tell you what I did. So, since these keys seem unlocked and I saw some scenes when I were in these rooms before, I just assumed that I didn't need to do these again, so I just skipped them and I just came here and yeah, I just thought I would do this. And in the guide it says that I should talk to Seven about this Ice 9 situation, so and looks like I was right, so I didn't need to do the first rooms again. So yeah, we are just going to continue from here. If you don't remember what happened here, Seven was talking about, you know, these EDT crystals that kinda communicated with each other remotely. Just like what June told us about. And now, in this timeline, we actually talked to June about this, so Junpei is able to bring it up here. Unlike last time where he didn't know anything and he just couldn't bring anything up. So, yeah.
Transmitting information in a way humans couldn't perceive. This phenomena spread throughout the world. Right.
Junpei looked up at Seven with half a smirk. Seven stared at him, dumbfounded.
Yeah, that's it exactly. But how did you know?
I heard another story, kind of like that one.
When?
In the freezer.
What?
Yeah,
The freezer?
June told me.
Junpei told Seven the story he'd heard from June in the freezer in the kitchen. How one day glycerin began to crystallize, and the story of ice that wouldn't melt at room temperature. When Junpei was done, Seven looked thoughtful and absent-mindedly rubbed the scar on his chin.
Ice that doesn't melt at room temperature, huh?
That sounds familiar?
Yeah, hold up. I feel like I can remember something. It's right there.
Seven squinted. His eyes stared off into space, as if he were trying desperately to focus on something far away.
Do you?
Know something about it? Know about Ice 9? I guess that's choose know about Ice 9.
Do you know about Ice 9?
Ice 9? Ice 9. Ice 9. Ice.
Suddenly, Seven's eyes shot open.
That's it. I remember now. That woman, she's on this boat.
That woman?
Alice!
Alice?
Who's Alice?
Come on. The woman who won't melt at room temperature.
Oh, wait. What?
Huh?
Like, the Egyptian mummy was not called Alice, so... What he's talking about? It became clear to Seven that Junpei had no idea what he was talking about. He ran his hand across his face and took a deep breath.
You know how the Titanic sank on April 15th, 1912, right?
Yeah, more than 1,500 people died. Worst maritime accident in history. What about it?
Did you hear about the boat that was sent to collect the dead bodies?
I think that was the RMS Carpathia, right? It was a cruise liner, just like the Titanic.
No, that was the ship that picked up the survivors. The ship that collected the dead bodies was the CS McKay Bennett. The McKay Bennett showed up on April 17th, 2 days after the accident. It set out from Halifax, a port in Canada, and recovered 306 bodies. The Atlantic that far north was really cold. It would have to be for there to be icebergs and stuff. Anyway, the bodies they pulled out of the water were frozen solid.
This isn't a very nice story. So, what happened next?
Well, they say the McKay Bennett recovered something more than just dead bodies. There were various bits of stuff floating around in the water. Things the drowned had carried with them, or stuff that dislodged as the ship sank. One of the things they found was a coffin.
A coffin?
Yeah, a wooden one. The craftsman who made it must have been pretty skilled.
Okay, yeah, it's the same thing June was talking about.
It wasn't just a wooden coffin. It was all wood, no nails, no reinforcements, no gaps in the wood anywhere. The thing was airtight. The crew got pretty curious about what might be inside it and opened it up. They had to get a wedge and hammer it open. It was so well made. Inside, they found a woman. Or, I guess you should say, they found the dead body of a woman. Her hair was thick and black, and her skin rich brown with no blemishes or signs of decomposition. They say that she looked gorgeous, like a goddess. She was obviously dead, but everyone who looked at her said she just looked like she was sleeping. Her skin was so lifelike, she looked like she might wake up any minute. And she didn't, though. Like the rest of the bodies they found, she was frozen solid. Eventually, the McKay Bennett finished searching and returned to Halifax. The 306 bodies were unloaded and taken ashore. However, it was warm enough that they began to thaw. They say that the stink was horrible, but there was one body that didn't thaw. And that was...
The girl in the coffin!
That's right. Everybody thought for sure that she'd melt and start to rot like the rest of them eventually. But weeks passed and nothing happened. And a month passed, and another. And it was summer, and she was still frozen solid. After a while, people started to say she was some sort of miracle. Rumors about her started to spread. People came to visit Halifax from all over. After a while, people started to call her All Ice. Alice.
Ah, I see.
Of course, those rumors didn't last long.
Why?
Well, she up and disappeared. One day Alice was there, the next day she wasn't. They say someone snuck into where they were keeping her and stole the body. With the body gone, the rumors followed pretty quickly. After a while, no one remembered her. You might be able to find something about her if you could find a newspaper from back then, but that's about it.
Wait, you just said that she was on this boat.
Yeah, I did. Alice has got to be somewhere on this ship.
Now why the hell would you say something like that?
Because I know.
Why?
And just
How?
what is it you know?
What happened to Alice after she was stolen?
Junpei
Alright.
gulped.
Tell me, what happened to Alice?
Seven nodded slowly. and took on the look of a man recalling something long buried.
Well, around that time, the word was that there was a special black market in New York. All millionaires from all over the world. I've heard that Alice went up for auction there. The person who won the auction was Lord Dashiell Gordain. You've heard that name before, right?
Who's that?
Lord Gordain. Oh, isn't he the guy who bought the Gigantic?
Oh.
The Titanic sister ship.
Yeah, that's him. Although I guess he hadn't done that yet.
What do you mean?
Gordain bought Alice in 1912. 4 years later, in 1916, he bought the Gigantic. And he hid Alice somewhere on the Gigantic. But nobody knows where. He died in 1931. And apparently he died without ever telling anyone where Alice was hidden. However,
what?
Well, he did have one close friend who asked him, "Where is Alice?" And he said, "Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge beneath the navel of the Gigantic."
What the hell is that? Is it some kind of riddle?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the forest of knowledge beneath the navel of the Gigantic. I don't know what navel means. Centurious hands up in the feet.
So that's it. Whatever you think, I believe it. She's hidden somewhere on the Gigantic. In other words, she's hidden somewhere on this ship.
Before Junpei could dispute Seven's rather bizarre claim, as Junpei was trying to figure out what on earth he was going to say next, Clover's shrill voice pierced the room.
Hey, what are you two doing over there? Stop wasting time and get over here!
Okay, we're coming.
Jeez!
Seven looked at Junpei.
Yeah, so anyway, that's the story. It might be useful someday. Don't forget it.
With a cryptic remark, he turned and left the room.
Alice. Huh.
Junpei was left behind to ponder what he'd just heard. He tried to remember what June had told him earlier.
That mummy wasn't just a normal mummy. They say that she was frozen. The story says that from the time of its discovery all the way through to when it got put on the Titanic. Even though it was carried through the desert, her body never melted.
Then was that Egyptian priestess Alice? Did the water in her body become Ice 9?
No, that's nuts. There's no way somebody like that could exist.
Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to clear it, and followed Seven to the operating room, where Clover was waiting. Okay, let's check the flowcharts. I see. So there is one more thing we have to unlock here, so yeah, I'll just find that and get back to you guys. Okay, this is new again. Let's see what they're going to say this time. Junpei, what do you want to do? Told Clover they need to leave. Gave her the 4-leaf clover. I think they mean give her the 4-leaf clover. Yeah, I guess let's give her the 4-leaf clover. I don't remember where we found the 4-leaf clover, but I don't know, let's just give it to her.
Oh yeah.
He didn't know why, but suddenly Junpei remembered something he'd been given earlier.
It's in my pocket somewhere. Here it is.
He reached into his pocket and dug it out.
A 4-leaf clover.
Santa had given it to him in the second class room. I totally forgot about that. I don't remember something like this happening at all. I guess it's been a very long time since I actually started playing this game, so I don't remember almost anything from the first few rooms. He held out the clover.
Hey, did you know? Each leaf means something. Hope, faith, love, and luck. That's what a 4-leaf clover stands for. Take it. Use it as a good luck charm.
He pressed the 4-leaf clover into her hands. Oh yeah, Snake is alive, so there's hope.
Listen to me, Clover. No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love.
Lol, hope.
If you can remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck. Snake, I mean, your brother, he's not dead.
Yeah, he's not.
He's alive, somewhere. I'm sure of it. You've just gotta believe in that.
Clover stared at the four-leaf clover in her hands. He could see tears start to form at the corners of her eyes.
Thank you.
Her voice was tiny and broken, and as she spoke, she started to cry. She tried to hide her tears by looking at the floor, but it did little good. She wiped away tears with the baggy arms of her jacket, but more quickly took their place. No matter how she tried, she couldn't stop crying. Her tears made small wet circles on the floor.
Thank you.
She said it again. Then she looked up at Junpei and seemed to choke down the last of her grief. She did her best to smile. Junpei wiped an errant tear from her cheek with his thumb and gave her the best smiles he could manage.
Oh, come on. Seven's waiting for us at the exit.
But still, she didn't move.
Wait, before we go, there's one thing I want to ask you.
What's that?
What do you think when you hear the word experiment?
For a moment, his mind froze. Then he came back to his senses and realized the word meant nothing to him, aside from the dictionary definition.
What?
Oh. I guess it was just a coincidence then. I mean, that you knew about the four-leaf clover.
Look, I'm sorry. I don't want to be a jerk, but you are making less than no sense right now.
Oh, no. It's nothing. Just forget about it.
Oh, don't give me that. You really think I could just drop this? What is this experiment you were talking about?
Clover looked away. The four-leaf clover was still in her hands. She stared at it for a long moment and then finally spoke.
You promise you won't tell anyone?
Cross my heart.
Really?
Really?
I can trust you, right?
Of course you can.
Clover slipped the four-leaf clover into her pocket. Her eyes still red from crying. She looked up at Junpei.
Okay then, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what happened on this ship 9 years ago.
Oh. Shit.
Wait. On this ship?
Yeah, this ship.
He was entirely lost. He had 1,000 questions, but it was probably best, he thought, to save them until Clover had finished.
It was an experiment to test some sort of psychic thing. Communicating through these fields that you can't see.
Fields that you can't see?
He'd heard something like this before. Clover nodded.
Like, think about this.
She pointed at the operating table. On top of it was something mismatched On top of it was a somewhat mismatched medical mannequin whose parts had been swapped with another mannequin.
This is John, right? But is he really John?
Huh?
All Junpei could think was, she has finally completely lost it.
Isn't this like Locke's socks?
What is Locke's socks?
Or the ship of Theseus?
What is Ship of Theseus? Junpei grew even more confused. He never heard of either of those things, although they sounded smart.
You don't know? You haven't heard of those paradoxes?
No?
Junpei shook his head.
Really?
Clover laughed.
Okay, well pay attention then. This is how Locke's socks works. Let's say I've got a pair of socks. They're my favorite socks. One of them gets a hole in it. What would you do if that was your sock, Junpei?
Probably throw it away.
Well, I'd pitch it, I guess.
But it's your favorite pair of socks.
Come on, who loves their socks that much?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Just suppose you do love them that much.
Well, I guess then I'd patch it.
But what if another hole opens?
I'd add another patch.
What if another hole opened after that?
Another patch, I guess?
Well, let's say you just keep adding new patches. Until eventually, the original cloth of the sock is totally gone. Once you get to that point, can you really say they're the same socks you started with?
Well, that's tough.
Yeah, I guess it'd be it would be the same size, but that's all. It wouldn't really feel the same. And I guess this paradox like connects to people, like, you know, if you just keep replacing human parts with cybernetic parts, when do you stop actually being yourself? Or yeah, stuff like that. Junpei crossed his arms.
So that's the locked socks thing?
Yeah, the ship of Theseus is a lot like it. The ship of Theseus. If you keep fixing the damaged parts of a ship, eventually it ends up with none of the parts it started with. Can you really say that ship is the same one you started with? And what if you took all the old parts from the first ship and built another one somewhere else? Then which ship is the real ship of Theseus? The one you repaired, or the one you built with all the original parts?
It was an interesting question. Clover could see Junpei was intrigued.
Hey, do you think it's the same?
What's the same?
These guys. Is this John, or is it Lucy now?
Oh. Junpei looked at the operating table again. A mannequin full of body parts from a different body. Clover had been right. It was like lock, stocks and ship of Theseus. The part of the body that holds a person's identity is the head. Of course, for many hundreds of years, conventional wisdom had held that a man's identity resided in his heart, or in a number of internal organs. And here, they had both.
John's head and heart are both his. But apart from those, and a single arm, the rest of his body was once Lucy's.
Was that mannequin really John?
We're just like these mannequins.
She looked at Junpei again.
Think about it. The cells in our body change every day. Old ones die and new ones are born.
Yeah, I was about to say that as well, but I didn't want to, you know, just drag on. When I was talking about cybernetic stuff and stuff, I was also going to say like we always change. The cells in our bodies constantly replace themselves. I was going to say that as well, but didn't want to drag the conversation too long. So yeah.
Maybe part of my arm is made of stuff from a fish I ate once. Or maybe part of your right side is made from a cow you ate. If you take it a little further, those cows and fishes are made from something else too, right? That's how we're all connected. Through fields that can't be seen with the naked eye.
Silence was broken by Seven.
Hey, what the hell is taking you two so long?
Seven's head appeared in the doorway. He was not happy.
How long are you gonna make me wait? We don't have time to screw around.
Junpei and Clover looked at each other. Clover looked at Junpei as if to say there was more she wanted to tell him. She shook her head. Whatever she had to tell him, she didn't want to tell him in front of Seven. Seven seemed to catch on.
Oh? What were you two doing? Was this some sort of secret meeting?
No, it wasn't. We were just playing with the mannequins.
Really?
Huh?
Let's go, Junpei.
Moving a little bit too fast to be entirely innocent, Clover headed toward the exit. Sam stared after her, then turned to Junpei with an amused expression.
Playing with mannequins, huh? Didn't know you were into that kind of thing, Junpei.
You're a dick.
Junpei dashed past him and traced Clover's path out the door. With a short laugh, Seven followed. They stood in front of the door. Junpei took out the Jupiter key.
Alright, I'm gonna open it now. Is that cool?
You don't need to keep asking, just do it, alright?
Fine then.
He slid the key into the keyhole and turned it. He felt an unlock. I guess I can skip now, yeah. Okay. Well, time to teleport to the next one. Okay, let's try choosing the other thing now.
Yeah, there is. You checked on us. Now get out of here. We split this stuff up for a reason, all right?
What was the conversation again? Might I take a look at it? He spun around to find Ace standing in the doorway. Junpei shrugged and handed him the pocket watch. Hey man, what are you doing over in this room? I just had a comment, blah blah blah. Yeah, there is. Okay, I see. Now, normally I would think this is a very dick move, but we know how Ace really is. So, yeah, fuck you, Ace.
That's a lie. We didn't have to split up the work. I just want to talk to Clover alone. That's why I sent Ace to the wheelhouse. There's something I want to ask her, and I don't want anyone to overhear us. I'm pretty sure Clover won't talk if there's anyone else around. That's why when Ace showed up again, I got a little desperate. I had to make him leave.
Ace opened his mouth, then took another look at Junpei and shouted again. A small smirk appeared on his face.
Oh, I see. Of course.
He looked Junpei over, then glanced at Clover.
I apologize for the intrusion. Well, best of luck.
Ace gave Junpei a knowing pat on the shoulder and left. Junpei let out a sigh and brushed a few drops of sweat from his forehead. He turned and found himself looking straight into Clover's eyes. She'd heard what Ace had said. She regarded Junpei with caution.
What was that about?
She was clearly suspicious, and with good reason.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Junpei's eyes widened, and he held up his hands in a gesture of innocence.
Oh, no, it's not like that.
What's it like then?
I just wanted to hear the rest of that story. I didn't get a chance to ask you about it until now.
What story?
About the experiment, remember? The one you started to tell me in the operating room? You said something about an experiment that happened here 9 years ago.
Clover bit her lip. She stared down at the floor for several long moments, and as she spoke, it was barely audible.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk about that right now.
Why?
I'm just not in the mood, okay? You understand, right? I keep thinking about my brother. I can't stop. I mean, who would do something like that to my brother?
Oh, is this after we found Guy X's body? I guess it is. Fuck.
I can't forgive them. I'm not gonna let them get away with it. They're gonna pay for it. I promise. So...
Her shoulders were shaking. Drops of blood had sprung up on her lips where she was biting them. She wiped it off and looked up at Junpei, her eyes fierce and angry.
Junpei, who do you think did it?
Her voice was cold and scarcely above a whisper. Junpei gulped.
Well, if what Seven said was right, then there would have to be at least 2 of them. You need at least 3 people to open the numbered doors, and if you subtract Snake, that means there were at least 2 other people.
You're right. So, what does that mean?
Well, if we just look at the bracelet numbers, we should be able to figure it out. Who could have opened door 3 with Snake? Well, really, who and who, or who and who?
You mean it could have been 4 people?
Well, technically it's possible.
I don't know. That doesn't seem very likely.
Why?
I'll tell you later. Why don't we just assume it was only 2 other people for now?
Okay, got it. Let's do that then.
Didn't the doors accept 5 people as well, or am I just misremembering?
Then who do you think it could be?
Junpei crossed his arms and talked. Snake's bracelet number was 2. Which 2 bracelet numbers added to 2 would give a digital root of 3. Which 2 bracelet numbers added to 2 would give a digital root of 3. Oh, okay, that's a fucking long thing. So that's we are trying to get 3, right? So that would be we actually know this, I think, because of the first bad ending we got, but I don't actually remember what it was. Why is there so much Lotus here? I guess Lotus has to be one of them. Ace and Santa is... What was Santa's number? I keep forgetting. Was it... Was 3? I think it was 3, right? So Ace and Santa is 4, and then 2 is 7, so no. Ace and June is 6, right? 7 plus 2 is 9. 8 plus 2 is 10, so 1. Ace and Lotus, 9. Santa and June, that is... No. Wait, 9 and then plus 2 is 11, which is 2. Santa and June is 9 plus 2 is 2. Santa and 7 is 10 plus 2 is... Huh.
Would it be Santa and 7?
2 plus 3 plus 7 equals 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3.
The digital root for Snake, Santa, and 7 is 3. Wait, hold on. Are Santa and 7 the killers?
What's wrong?
Clover looked at Junpei and he looked back at her. There is no point in hiding it.
Well, I thought about it, and
He told her his conclusions.
That's what I thought.
She looked less surprised than he'd expected.
Santa and 7. If it was 2 people, then that's the only combination that works.
hey, wait a minute there. Don't you think it's a little too early to be jumping to conclusions? Well, all I said is that those 2 would have been able to open door 3 with your brother. There might be other possibilities.
Well, what other possibilities?
He didn't have an answer. He was ready to admit defeat when Clover spoke.
Are you saying you think that it was 3 or 4 people? I really don't think that's likely.
Why not?
Can I borrow your pen and paper?
Clover put her hand out unexpectedly.
Yeah, here.
Junpei pulled out his pen and a pad of paper and handed them to her. She opened the notebook and wrote down several simple addition problems. Eventually, she had 8 which provide digital root of 3. A, 2 plus 1 plus blah blah blah. Okay, I'm not going to read all of these numbers. Okay, so in 2 of them there's Clover, and then in 1 of them there is Junpei. In 3 of them, let's just actually see all of them. So yeah, in all of them there's Junpei and Clover. Like, there's only 1 possibility where there is no June, or I mean there's no Clover or Junpei.
What's this?
These are the combinations for 3 or 4 people. These 8 combinations are the only possible ones.
Oh, I see.
Junpei,
Yeah?
I can trust you, right?
Of course. Why would you need to ask that?
Really?
Yeah.
So then I should get rid of B, D, G, and H, right?
Yeah.
Of course. Just cross them out. And you should take off yours too. The ones with 4.
So, what does that leave?
A and E.
A is 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 6. And the other one is 1 plus 3 plus 7 plus 8.
Wait, it can't be A.
Why?
Because June's in that one. There's no way in hell she'd do something like that.
Are you sure?
I bet my life on it.
Okay then. I can cross off A too, right?
Yeah.
Well, what have we got left?
E.
Okay.
You know what this means?
Everyone besides me, you, and June would be working together.
Do you think that's likely? If there were 4 people working together, they wouldn't be very cautious. I don't think they'd try that hard to hide what they were doing if they outnumbered us, right?
Well, you do have a point.
And besides, if Ace and Seven are working together, they could have easily gotten rid of me when I went to the shower room with them. But they didn't. They didn't even try anything. If they were killers, why wouldn't they?
Her voice was calm, but Junpei had only to look her in the eye to know it was a forced calm. There were tears forming at the corners of her eyes, and she was blinking furiously to keep them back. Perhaps by attempting an objective analysis of who might have killed her brother, she had been able to distance herself from the harsh reality of his death. The more she struggled to act unconcerned, the more Junpei felt his heart tighten.
Oh, I see. Anyway, I understand now. It seems pretty unlikely that it was as many as 3 or 4 people.
Yeah,
Then that means there's a good chance it was Santa and Seven.
that's how it looks.
But why would they do it?
There is a moment of silence.
Their motive.
He laid his hand gently on her shoulder. He was close, so close to answer. Van Ace chose the worst possible moment to return. He raised a knowing eyebrow and then spoke.
Have I interrupted something?
What is it?
There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Could you come with me for a moment?
He turned on his heel and walked back toward the wheelhouse.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Junpei looked over at Clover. He gave her a short nod, hoped that she would be willing to talk to him again later, and followed Ace.
What did you want to talk about?
Ace looked at Junpei and smiled, perhaps more of a smirk than a smile.
There was something I wanted to check.
Yeah? What's that?
If you'll excuse me.
With no warning, Ace slipped his hand into the pocket of Junpei's vest.
Hey, what the hell are you doing?
I'm just checking.
No, stop!
He reached for Ace's arm, but it was already too late. In the older man's head were the pieces of paper Junpei had balled up, hidden in his pocket. I think we solved this before. This is Ace learning Junpei cheated.
Just as I thought. What exactly are these pieces of paper hiding in your pocket?
This is not new, right? Wait, what? This is new? Really? I thought we've seen this before. Am I just misremembering?
You switched them, didn't you, when we voted? Well, I can't say that I care. I managed to get through the numbered door I wanted, despite your mischief.
Then, why did you...
Oh, simple curiosity. I hope you won't think ill of me for it.
Ace smiled, gave Junpei a friendly pat on the shoulder, and then turned on his heel and left. It was a small defeat, but it was a defeat. Junpei had lost the upper hand, and he knew it. He could feel his stomach begin to tense.
Damn.
Okay. Time to teleport to the next one.
Well, even if he wasn't one of us, there's no way that man could be Zero.
Okay, this is new.
Huh?
Don't you get it? The letters that spell Zero on the TV screen, the captain's clothes he's got on, and of course, the bracelet with a 0 on it. It's too obvious. Look, this is Zero right here. This dead body is Zero. Isn't that kind of fishy?
You're right. Only an idiot wouldn't see through something like that.
No, that's not the point. So I'm not trying to make fun of them for thinking a trick like this would work. I'm sure they didn't think it would work, which makes me wonder.
Why isn't the entire line voiced? Oh well. Which makes me wonder why they do it.
I think this is a challenge. A challenge from the person who's really behind all of this. He's making fun of us. Don't you get it? If whoever killed this guy really wanted us to think this corpse was Zero, they'd never have put a bracelet on him. Walking around with a 0 bracelet would be like hanging a sign around your neck that said, "I did it!" Anyone with a brain would be able to see that this guy is supposed to look like everything Zero is supposed to be. Just like we did. The killer must have known we wouldn't think he was Zero and put the bracelet on him anyway. Do you know why?
Why?
Because the bracelet is useful.
Like I said, he's mocking us.
I don't know. Maybe let's just have him finish the conversation first.
Too bad, suckers. This isn't Zero. Where's the real me then? See if you can catch me.
I see. Okay, it's not because the bracelet is full. But maybe mods.
It's the same bad joke a lot of criminals like to play. They'll just sit back and watch people run in circles.
That's really twisted. But it almost seems kind of childish.
Yeah, you're right. It's really childish. It's like it's just a game to whoever this person is. That's what seems funny to me.
Junpei bent down next to the corpse.
Alright, let's get back to the point. Who killed this man?
I don't know.
And what's this guy's deal? Who is he?
How would I know that? If I knew anything, I would have told you.
You have no idea who he is.
Why would I?
Junpei sat back on his haunches and thought.
We should check and see if he's got anything on him that might tell us who he is. Give me a hand here, Clover.
Huh?
We gotta flip him over. How else are we gonna search his pockets?
You know, Junpei, you can't do that yourself. You are physically stronger than her, and yeah, I don't think you can. You should have a girl help you with a fucking dead body.
Okay, fine. Guess I'll do it.
Yeah, please do. Junpei had no choice but to move the body on his own.
Here we go.
He grabbed hold of an area not completely covered in blood and shoved. It took a moment, but eventually Junpei felt the man's bulk begin to shift. But just as it did,
Huh?
something fell from the man's left wrist.
Hey, it's the
bracelet with the 0 on the face. I was wondering about that myself, like how they get the bracelet off of the guy. I guess this is how.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only two ways to
I
do
see,
so.
okay. The bracelets just come off when you die.
1. You escape from this ship. 2. Your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or the backside of the wearer's heart rate has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
Oh god.
Junpei stared at the bracelet.
This man. He's dead, isn't he?
Well, duh.
Huh?
No, it's just I guess I didn't really think about it until right now. If his bracelet's off, that means he's dead.
Well, it's pretty obvious that he's dead. You don't really need to look at his bracelet to figure out that he's dead.
Yeah. I guess you're right. It is pretty obvious. Well, he looks a lot better than the other bodies we've seen, though. You know? I mean, if there wasn't all this blood, he'd almost look like he was still alive.
Junpei, you're just making the situation worse.
I mean, I know it's kind of a messed up thing to say, but he kinda has it better, you know? Dying from a bomb going off inside of you? I mean, that's just... Some of Snake's bones went right through his skin.
Junpei, shut the fuck up, please.
I think the explosion must have thrown him against a wall or something.
Junpei, can you please shut the fuck up?
There was a broken bone just sticking out of his left arm.
Oh, okay, I just did a PogChamp face there.
And,
Suddenly, Junpei realized what he was saying. How could he have been so cruel? He clapped his hands over his mouth. But it was already too late. He turned to look at Clover. She was glaring at him furiously.
What did you just say?
Her words sounded cold. He knew an apology could hardly atone for what he'd done, but he tried it anyway.
oh man, I am so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I really don't know what I was thinking. I mean...
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What did you say about his arm?
Arm?
Yes, his left arm. You said it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I did, but... I mean, didn't you see it too?
Of course not. I could barely look at him. There's no way I was gonna see the details.
Clover took a quick deep breath.
Are you sure it was his left arm?
Junpei thought back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
And he had a broken bone, right?
What the hell are you getting at here?
Just shut up and answer me!
She shoved her face close to his. He could see the fire in her eyes. Junpei winced and swallowed.
Yeah, he did. It was pretty bad, too. The bone was sticking out of the arm.
No sooner were the words out of his mouth than Clover's expression changed.
Clover? What's wrong? Look, I'm sorry if I said anything.
Suddenly she was crying. Junpei wasn't sure what to do.
Thank you.
It was close to the last thing he had expected to hear.
Huh? What are you...
Junpei had no idea what had just happened. He didn't think he'd done anything worthy of thanks, and he couldn't understand why she would have chosen that moment to begin crying. So he simply stood there, confused.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She thanked him again, and then something even stranger happens. Oh. Okay, that's cute.
Hey, what's going on with you?
I'm sorry, it's just... I'm so happy!
Why?
The body in the shower room, it isn't his! It isn't my brother!
Huh?
It's not Snake!
Why on earth would you think that?
Because his left arm is...
She stopped herself.
I'm sorry. I really shouldn't be talking about this.
Junpei decided to be prudent not to press her for any more information. If she did not wish to tell him, she certainly had a reason for doing so. Perhaps more importantly, however, if Clover was so certain, then she was likely right. That meant that the body in the shower room was a snake. It wasn't much, but that knowledge lifted some of the weight from Junpei's heart.
But he's still alive. I'm so happy.
Tears shone in her eyes. Those tears melted Junpei's heart. As she cried, she had pushed herself up against his chest, like a child. Junpei put his arms around her, and held her tight.
I'm so glad. Junpei, you were right.
Huh?
No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love. If you can remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck.
Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out.
That's...
So I guess if we didn't give her this, then she just goes batshit crazy and kills everyone. It was a laminated bookmark with a 4-leaf clover.
I only made it here because you gave me this. I was suspicious of everybody. I was angry and miserable. But because I had this 4-leaf clover, because of what you said to me,
Yeah.
Junpei hadn't thought his words would have had such an effect on her. Her words were making him feel a little awkward.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She looked up at him. He scratched his nose and apparently to notice something interesting somewhere else in the room.
Oh, if you really want to thank somebody, you should be thanking Santa.
Santa? Why?
Well, he was the one who gave me that thing. And the words for each leaf, I got that from him too.
Oh.
Then suddenly, Clover broke away from Junpei.
Huh?
He looked confused. He hadn't thought she'd react that poorly. Clover began to pace across the room. Six steps to the left, 6 steps to the right, other 6 to the left, and then she stopped.
Did Santa really tell you those things?
Her eyes were serious, but not angry. Oh. Yeah, they were suspecting Santa and Seven, right? So now this has been brought up, so yeah.
Yeah, he did. Did I say something wrong?
Oh no, not at all. In fact, this could be really good news, I think.
You think?
Santa knew about the words and the clover. The only people who should know about that are the other subjects.
Wait, what?
Subjects?
The other people who were in the experiment 9 years ago, with my brother and me.
Oh, so you were in that experiment as well. Oh. 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 Huh. I see. Interesting.
But he's blind, and I was part of the Nevada test group.
Nevada test group?
So neither of us would be able to recognize the faces of the people who were on this boat.
Whoa. Okay, time out.
What? Junpei held up his hands. He took a deep breath and let it out.
Let's just calm down for a second, okay? Start from the top. Don't start with the end and then jump to the middle. You gotta start with 1 and then move to 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. If you don't tell me stuff in the right order, I'm never gonna be able to figure it out.
Okay.
Clore nodded.
Alright, let's start with this experiment. What happened on this boat 9 years ago?
Do you know about morphogenetic fields?
What?
Morphogenetic fields.
He did, and the realization sent chills down Junpei's spine.
Alright, how about this? Theory of the telepathic mechanism.
I think Lotus mentioned something like that.
Junpei recounted what Lotus had told him earlier. Clore nodded.
Telepathy, huh? Well, that's not really it, but I suppose it's similar.
So they were testing telepathy on this ship?
When did Lotus say that in this timeline? Huh. I don't know. Oh well.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, what exactly did they have you guys do?
The same thing that we're doing now. Exactly the same thing.
What?
The
What?
nonary game. 9 people
Oh.
were put on this
Yeah.
boat, and 9 others were put in the building in Nevada, and the game started.
Junpei grabbed the side of his head.
Look, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. What do the nonary game and some telepathy experiment have to do with each other? Am I missing something here?
Clore bit her lip. She blinked back sudden tears. What had happened to her in
The
Nevada?
ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger. You know how sometimes when you're up against a really tough problem, and then the answer just kind of pops in your head?
This is the thing Santa told us about, the rat experiments.
That's an epiphany. And what you learn from the epiphany can be transmitted with telepathy. When you add danger to that equation, then it gets easier to transmit that information over telepathy.
So you're saying the nonary game was supposed to introduce that element of danger?
Yeah, but it couldn't be just any old danger. It had to be life and death. And someone did actually die. A girl.
Junpei felt a sudden grip of despair on his heart. Something deep and distant and powerful squeezed, and for a moment he felt very, very empty and alone.
She was on the boat with my brother. I was in Nevada. I never met her, but I did hear her name. Her name was...
The sound of the door opening was like a gunshot. Junpei spun around.
Oh, my apologies. I seem to have disturbed you.
Ace!
You two must have strong stomachs. I can't imagine how you could stay in this room for so long.
Ace glanced down at the floor. At a corpse covered in blood.
At any rate, Junpei, would you be so kind as to come and help me with something? I'm having a little trouble and I could really use your assistance. Come on, it'll only take a moment.
With that, he turned and walked back toward the communications office. Clore waited until he was out of sight, then spoke in a small, quiet voice.
I don't want Ace to hear us. We can talk about this later.
Huh? Hey, wait!
Clore ignored him. From outside, Junpei could hear Ace calling.
Junpei, what are you doing in there? Hurry up!
I wonder if Ace is doing these interruptions intentionally. I don't know. Maybe he is. Grumbling to himself, Junpei stomped off toward the communications office. Okay, huh. Wait, what? What did I miss? There's something locked here. What did I miss? Oh shit.
All ice.
Okay, this is new. So that's where I heard that before. I knew it sounded familiar, this all ice thing. Well, there are actually two reasons it sounds familiar. One, this, and this probably didn't stick with me. I probably didn't recognize this even unconsciously. There's a translation team called All Ice Team that translated Danganronpa to some language and stuff. So yeah, that's probably why it stuck with me. But apparently I saw this before as well, so this is probably one of the reasons it also seemed familiar to me, but I doubt this actually really stuck with me that much. Anyway, yeah, enough rambling, let's go.
Alice. Does this mean...
Junpei couldn't hold back. He had to know what was in that file. Of course, I see. The hieroglyphs. How do you read that? Hieroglyphs, right? Hieroglyphs. Yeah, the hieroglyphs. Each page was covered with strange characters. They looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, wings, and even kneeling humans. There were many pages in the file, and each was full of these strange symbols.
What the hell is this?
He didn't realize he had spoken out loud until Ace looked over at him.
They are hieroglyphs, a form of writing used in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt?
That's right.
Can you read them?
Of course.
Really?
I can't.
No.
What would make you think I could?
I was like, what the fuck, how?
What the hell?
Junpei flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just 1 or 2 pages that were covered in the strange symbols. Every single page was covered in them.
Whoa, the whole thing's like that.
Trying to read them was pointless. Junpei wasn't going to waste any more time with them. He made to close the file, and something fell out.
Huh? What's this?
He bent down and picked it up.
Oh, a key card.
There was a symbol on it that reminded Junpei of the symbols for the Saturn and Mercury keycards. This one, however, had a dot in the center of the male symbol.
Uranus. That's the Uranus symbol.
That's the Uranus symbol. Junpei looked over to see Ace examining the card. In addition to the Uranus symbol, there were 3 words engraved on the card as well.
Something's written on the bottom. Bottom deck library. This must be the key to the library, then.
So it would seem.
Bottom deck library. Oh.
Junpei remembered something he'd heard from Seven when they'd been in the chemical closet.
Seven said something like...
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge beneath the navel of the Gigantic.
Past the Forest of Knowledge. The library.
Could beneath the navel mean the bottom deck, and the Forest of Knowledge is the library? Then could Alice be in a room somewhere beyond the library?
What's wrong? Something on your mind?
Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace looking at him. Curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts.
Yeah. I just remembered something.
Is that so? What about?
Well, don't laugh, okay?
There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. He began to explain his theory to Ace. Fuck. Ace is the bad guy. Fuck, this is bad. Well, nothing we can do about it now. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. So he told Ace everything June had told him.
The Egyptian priestess and Ice 9. Interesting.
And the woman who wouldn't melt, who was recovered from the Titanic disaster, they called her All Ice, which eventually turned into Alice. and she was purchased by an English millionaire who called himself Lord Gordain. According to Seven, this ship is where he hid Alice.
And you think that he hid her in a small room, beyond the library on the bottom deck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is just a theory.
Ace stared off into the distance, his hands slowly and absent-mindedly stroking his beard. After a few moments, his hands stopped. He turned slowly to look at Junpei, and his brows drew together.
Junpei, have you ever heard of the term CAS?
Cass?
Sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is.
It stands for Cells Alive System. It is an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic matter. Put simply, it is a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals. Normally, if you freeze something fresh, water within its cells expands as it crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane. CAS, however, works differently. The object to be frozen is supercooled using magnetic fields, and then frozen instantly and uniformly, giving ice crystals no time to form. It was originally developed for the preservation of food, as an alternative to the normal freezing process. Now, however, there are rumors that it can be used for other things.
What do you mean, other things?
Well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps also space travel.
Space travel? Are you serious?
Surely you've heard of suspended animation. Cryogenic freezing? It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space.
That was when Junpei understood what Ace was suggesting.
Whoa, wait a minute there.
Ace looked at him and raised an eyebrow.
Are you saying that Alice was frozen using that CAS thing?
Well, I'm sure the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility. If this special ice you call Ice 9 does indeed exist, and CAS were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously.
You think she could be alive?
Well, I can't say for sure, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities.
Huh.
The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right? If she were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature...
That's nuts. Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking about?
The incinerator. The incinerator, of course.
You're quite right. It does sound unbelievable. But if she had, then we would have an explanation for the man we found dead on the floor.
You mean the guy dressed like a captain?
Yes. He was dead when we found him. Clearly, he was murdered. But if he was murdered, then by whom? It couldn't have been one of us. That would be impossible. In order to enter the captain's quarters, one must first open door 1. That door that requires the Earth key prevented us from accessing door 1. Who was it that opened that door?
Santa and Lotus.
Right. Clearly, the two of them could not have opened door 1, or any other door for that matter. Who else then could have done so?
Junpei thought for a second.
Nobody.
After Santa and Lotus used the Earth key, they turned back and met up with me and June. Then we returned to the large hospital room and found Ace, Seven, and Clover. While we'd gone into the shower room, Ace, Seven, and Clover had stayed behind. But it's impossible for those three to open door 1. But what about when June and I took the elevator to door 2? No, still won't work. We were only gone 5 minutes. No human being could have run to the captain's quarters, killed that guy in there, and run back that fast.
It would be impossible for any of us to be the murderer. That being the case, who could have killed him? Wouldn't it make sense if his killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time? A person like that would know the ship well. They would know the locations of all the hidden passages and secret doors. The numbered door would mean nothing to someone like that. It would be a simple thing for them to enter the captain's quarters.
Then you're saying the killer was Alice?
It was Junpei's turn to raise an eyebrow. Ace drew his thumb across his lips thoughtfully.
Well, this is all only one possible theory.
All ice. Alice.
I don't think it was Alice. I think the incinerator is there to wake up Alice, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking wrong, and maybe it was Alice, I don't know.
Is she really somewhere on the ship?
Jubei had only one clue. The keycard in his hands.
Maybe this card will give me access to the Forest of Knowledge and the big mystery.
So for yawning, it's like 5 AM right now.
What could be there beyond the Forest of Knowledge? Anyway, whatever. It's gonna have to wait. I can't do anything right now. I'll come back to this later.
He gripped the keycard tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket. Whew, okay, let's check this again. Okay, everything is unlocked. Well, I'm going to end this episode here, and we are going to get the next ending in the next one. Let me just save the game real quick. And yeah, see you guys in the next episode. Bye.